Today we have possibly the cutest car on the fleet, our 1993 Alfa Romeo Spider Series 4. A real red Alfa classic. And by the way, believe it or not, this is being filmed in winter here in Nelson. I know it doesn't look like it, but we have to do it tough. Anyway, back to the car. So this is a gorgeous little sports convertible. A manual, of course. 1993, this was the last of the Alfa Spiders that they produced after a long run. The styling is akin to the original 1960s styling, but this is updated for the 1990s, the last run of a few years that they did in the 90s of this model. So you have the rounder, softer front bumpers, styling still by Pininfarina, but at the back you have that. I rather like how they've done this, the more modern 90s. That was all the thing with Alfa in the 90s, to do those lights and reflectors right across the back there. But it's pretty good, I think. We've added some updates there. We've got a wind deflector to ruffle your hair a bit less. Not that I've got much hair to ruffle, I must admit. Inside, it's very tastefully done. Look at that wrap around the gaiter of the handbrake there. A very nice luxury feature that you don't find on many sports cars anymore. You've got all the dials. Tricky to see there, those ones at the top, but quite a busy dashboard for you. Column mounted gear stick. Well, it's halfway between column and halfway between the floor, but it works surprisingly well. 5-speed gearbox, loves to rev this car. Let's actually start it up for you so you can hear that. Let me climb in. Find the ignition keys. Sorry about the sunshine there. Oh, that's better. Some lovely Italian brio and, well, not quite burble, but a nice Italian sound. That's not an Alfa accessory, original one anyway, but little Joe comes along for the ride. So while we're here, obviously we do have to talk about practicalities, and if you're hiring this fantastic looking car for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks to go touring around New Zealand, you're probably wondering, okay, how much luggage fits? We have to get onto practicalities. So there is some pretty good space behind the front seats there, as you can see, but the boot isn't too bad either. You access the boot via this ingeniously placed knot lever here. Of course, this was designed and styled for Italy, so they drive on the left there. If we go in the boot, you can see it's actually pretty spacious. And just look at the back there. Lovely Alfa Romeo logo in the boot. So plenty of room for your suitcases, luggage, and maybe even a box of wine if you want to take one back as well. Oh, look, the door closes all by itself. That's clever. Okay, so let's take a closer look at some of the features. The styling, as I said, soft, rounded on the front, Still managed to incorporate the Alfa Romeo badge there and the traditional wedge that of course became far more prominent on the 90s cars and indeed its replacement Spider. But looking pretty good there, I think. It is a softened, rounder style. It was kind of there before the Mazda MX-5, and yes, if you're a driving thoroughbred and purist, the Mazda MX-5 probably has the better driving experience. This one can be a bit jiggly, to be honest, in the ride, but not uncomfortably so. It's all just part of the character, really. Safety features, well, they are a bit limited compared to modern cars. You'll see there is no airbags, or even there are no airbags. No traction control, but you do have the 5-speed gearbox there. You do have power steering on this one, and you do have fuel injection. Talking of which, let's go and have a look at the engine, because that, of course, is the key component, as much as the design in any Italian sports car. So here you go, that is the 2-litre dual overhead cam, I believe. Proper Alfa Romeo engine, proudly stamped on the casting there. And that will get you along very nicely and nippily indeed. Plenty of power for the hills and mountain passes that we have in New Zealand that you'll have great fun traversing. And there's the genuine, well, it's actually saying Alfa Lancia, because of course they were all one company, and I think still are. Well, look at the little features. You've got those lovely chrome handles that you just get your finger under to open the door. You've got these actually electric mirrors, luxury of luxuries for an older Alfa. You have the chrome trim. You even have mirrors on your sun visors to check your scarf is in the correct fashionable Milanese position when driving. So on a day like this, even though this is winter in Nelson, you won't believe me, but we are in winter. What's the roof doing up? So let's go in, get the roof down. No electric motors or worry buttons on this. This is all old school that we have to get down. But that's all part of the fun and charm. So what you do is you unclip these clips here on either side. Get your finger up in that hook there, pull down, and then you can just, whoa, throw back, and we're blinded by the sun. Or you could get out and gently push it down like that. And that's it. There we have it. Now we're proper Spider. So let's take a look inside at the driving experience. So you've got these really quite nice Alcantara, I believe, semi-faux leather seats and vinyl, but they are pretty comfy, and really it's pretty nicely done out in here. So down here you've actually got electric window switches here. adjustment for the passenger and driver mirror, the Alfa logo on the steering wheel, not any airbags in this. This is a real classic. So it's snug, but it's a pretty nice place to be. So, time to go for a drive in our 1993 Spider. Let's start her up. Ooh, not bad. Not bad at all. It's pretty eager. A little bit rattly. That's partly because I didn't put the boot clips down. But what it is superbly characterful. You feel like you're driving a real sports car, because you are. It's not sophisticated, it's not refined, but it is fun. Real fun. So, this is the sort of place you can go driving a car like this. This is Monaco. It's the Nelson version of Monaco. Almost French Riviera-ish. If you've had a few, which of course you wouldn't be driving if you had. But this is high tide, and it's pretty gorgeous. So this car kind of goes with the place, and you never know who you might meet. Andy, driving round. But it is a gorgeous little sports car to cruise these seaside lanes and towns. As you can see, it's very happy just to potter around. Very happy indeed. inside a little jiggly, but it's all part of the character. It's not the most sophisticated sports car. It's not even an Italian MX-5, but it has so much character, so much attitude, so much revy alpha-ness, and it looks so darn cute. You're just kind of going to forgive it all that. It really is a fun driving experience, and you too, if you come to New Zealand, could have the fun of driving this around places like this. Which is surprisingly busy this morning. RentAClassic. Okay, let's take a last look at the Alfa with the roof up. And as you can see, the fabric roof is in pretty darn condition on this car. This will keep you snug and warm with good visibility out of the back there. It can cope with the 4 seasons in one day that New Zealand can occasionally throw at it. You do get a little bit of wind noise when you're going nearer the higher speed limits, because as you can see, the roof, the way it's designed, juts out over the windscreen there. It's not exactly flush, but that's a small price to pay, and I can assure you the tenorous and sonorous engine note is heard well above it, and this car loves to rev. Indeed, this car is one that gets so many smiles and waves and comments as you drive around in it. So if you want to meet the locals, RentAClassic is a really good way to go, because so many folks will come up and talk to you about this car and all the fun and joy of driving it. Of course, as regular reviewers will know, my pets always like to make an appearance in the video, and today is no exception. Dog Lara just out in the background there. She's getting on a bit, but hey, still moves quite nicely. Good acceleration, lovely lines, and far more furry and cuddly than any of the magnificent cars. But back to them. So it's definitely a sports car, it's definitely Italian, and it's definitely worth seeking out for a lovely long drive here in New Zealand with RentAClassic. So if you want to hire this gorgeous little sports car for self-drive hire, yes, you can drive it yourself for 24 hours or for 24 days around the gorgeous scenery that is New Zealand here in the South Island. Do contact rentaclassic.co.nz. Look us up on the web or email us at info@rentaclassic.co.nz, and you could be driving Italian style in a wonderfully rare, but just for you, Italian Spider sports car. We look forward to seeing you. Kia ora.